Hello, thanks for joining me. I'm Errah. I'm from the Oshkosh YMCA, and I'm going to be leading us in a balance and strength workout this morning. We're going to start with a nice warm-up. So let's start marching. Next, we're going to take our shoulders up, back, down, then relax them. Let's do that again a couple more times. One more here. Let's march those feet out a little bit wider now. March it back in. Let's alternate wide and narrow. So we're going to take it out, out, in. To get that heart beating a little bit faster, taking it lower and higher. And then back to regular march. Give me a nice big breath up right here. Exhale. Again. Let's take those arms in front and shine your palms to me. Let's do that a couple more times. Nice little wrist stretch. March with pumping those arms. Let's transition to a step touch, step tap, touching it side to side, adding some arms if you would like to. And let's do some hamstring curls where we squeeze those ankles towards or heels towards your glutes. And then we're going to do some knees up. You can take the elbow to the knee if you would like. You could do hands on hips. You could do a little torso rotation. Lots of options with those knees. Good. Back to march it in. Let's do that wide and narrow march right here. Remember, you can go low and high to add intensity. Get the heart beating a little bit faster in our warm-up. Step touch, side to side. Arms right away if you would like. Next, we'll do those hamstring curls, heels back. 4 more. Here are the knees up, elbow to the knee, or hands on the hips, or twisting through the torso. We'll do 8, 7, just 4. Back to marches. All right, hopefully your heart is beating a little bit faster. You're starting to feel that blood pumping out into the arms, legs, hands, and feet. Breathe it up. Exhale. We're going to do a little stretch before we get working with those weights and balance. One more. This time as you exhale, give yourselves a great big hug for tuning in. Open those arms up. Other arm on top, stretching through the shoulders and the back. You can always quiet those feet right here. You don't have to keep the march going if you don't want to. Open those arms up, palms face each other and back, lifting up through the chest. Remember, you can have quiet feet or marching feet, whichever works best for you. Arms come around, hands at the back of the neck, elbows as high as your flexibility allows. Let's do some fists. Squeeze, release. Good. All right, let's have a seat on our chair. And let's do some heels out and in. We'll sit and do a little stretch through those legs. Here's 4, 3, 2, and then let's take this leg up, ankle rotation. Switch direction. Let's lower that heel. We're just gonna lean it forward, keep the chest lifted, sitting up nice and tall. Couple more of these. 2 more. 1 more. And then we're going to take that foot and cross it down low or up high. Stretch to the outer side just a little bit here. Excellent. Let's lower that leg. Take the other leg up. Nice ankle rotation. Switching direction. Lowering the heel. Hands high in the hip. Lean it forward. And sitting up nice and tall. 2 more. 1 more here, and then we're going to cross that foot down low at the ankle or up high at the knee, whichever one feels best to you. Hinging it forward, taking those ribs towards those thighs. Good. Lowering that leg. All right, if you have some water handy, you could grab a little drink. And we're going to pick up those handheld weights. We're going to do some seated strength work to start our routine today. Remember, if you don't have those handheld weights, you can always grab some soup cans or some little milk bottles with some water in them. And we're going to have our feet, heels underneath the knees, hinging forward. Weights are going to be down at the side, abs are tight. We're going to raise those elbows up and lower it down. So we're doing a reverse fly, working the upper back, also the back of the shoulders. You can have a shorter lever or a longer lever, whichever one makes sense for you. Let's do 4 more of these. 4, keep breathing. 3, keep those abs tight. 2, here's the last one. Good. Sitting up nice and tall. We're going to be sitting forward on the chair like we were before. We're going to do some leg extensions. We're going to flex our foot as we extend the leg, and then we'll lower that foot down. But we'll do it to the beat of the music. Up to here. Up and down. Other side right away. Out and down. Good. You can do just the legs. Or if you want to add a complex movement, we can do bicep curls up with the leg extension. Remember, you could do just the legs, and you could also do just the arms if you would rather focus on the upper body and not the lower body. Nice. Let's do 4 more. 3, abs tight, sitting up nice and tall. Flexing that foot on top to engage the quadricep. Let's go a little bit faster. 8, 7, abs tight. 6, relax through the shoulders. Keep breathing. 4, 3, 2, last one. Good work. All right, we're going to hinge forward again. We're going to bring our weights down to the side, or just our arms. You could do this with just the arms. We're going to press the palms up towards the ceiling. Tricep presses, so our arms are nice and long. We have just a little tiny bend in the elbow just to avoid totally, I can't say what I want to say. Locking those joints. We don't want to lock our joints. Nice. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Nice. All right, we can set our weights down on our chair if you don't want to do this exercise with your weights. If you're okay with your weights, you just tuck them into your hips. We're going to stand up and sit down using those standing muscles in 4, 3. Join me standing up and having a seat. As we stand up, squeeze those glutes on top. You can keep it here, or if you want to add a little bit of a balance challenge, we could progress to up, tap that toe to kind of shift the weight to one leg, or stand, lift the knee. That will add a little balance challenge. Let's do 4 more. 3, 2, and I'm going to stay up on this last one right here. Good. All right, weights close to your body. Step that base out a little bit wider. We're going to do a big circle with our weights close to our body. We bring it around, and we're going to shift that weight side to side. You could do it nice and big over the head, or you could keep it low. You decide what works best for you. Let's switch direction. We've got 8 the other way. 4, 3, 2, nice work. All right, let's stand over to the side of our chair. We're going to use just one weight at a time. So in case that we need our chair to hold on to, we are able to grab that easily. We're going to bend the knees, abs are tight, we're going to hinge forward. We're going to do a back row on one side. So we're going to bring that elbow up, squeeze the skin, back row. Now, we could add to it, step back, step in. Leg is optional. That's just going to add a little extra balance challenge. 4 more this pace. 2 more. And then we're going to switch to singles. Here we go. 8. Keep those abs nice and tight. 6. Remember, you can keep those legs in if you would rather. 4, 3, 2, nice. And then we're going to raise it out to the side for that lateral raise. You can have it bent, or you could have it nice and long. 3, 2. Here's the last one. All right, we're going to rest that weight at our thigh or set the weight back down on the chair. Bending the knees, abs are tight, chest lifted. We're going to raise our leg up and out to the side. Then we're going to tap it down in front, tap it down middle, up, tap it down in back. Now, if you don't need back to middle to hold onto the chair, that's going to challenge your balance. Front, good. Middle. This time we're going to go back and middle. Singles, center. Just center. If you don't need the chair, that's going to challenge your balance a little more. Don't forget to leave a little bend in that knee. 3, 2, and good. All right, next we are going to do an overhead press with our arm. So we'll take it up and down. Now, if you would like, you could add a step forward and step back, adding that balance challenge. Let's do 4, 3, 2, last, 1, done. Lower it to the side. Again, keeping those abs nice and tight. We're just going to tilt our weight to the side. We tilt and tall. Working our obliques, working the core. Knees are soft, abs are tight, backs are strong. Nice. We just have 4 more here. And 3. Last 2. And 1. And this is a chance for us to rest that weight down for a little bit. We're going to come behind the chair in case you need to hold on to the chair the whole time. I'm just going to come to the side so you can see what my feet are doing, but make sure to use that chair as much as you need to. We're going to do some toe rockers. We're going to go up, and then we're going to lower the heels. Then we're going to go back to the heels, raise the toes up, lower the toes. Heels off the floor, and then toes off the floor. Let's do a couple more this pace. So calf raises, and then the anterior tibialis. This is a little balance challenge with lower leg strength. Let's go a little bit faster right here. It's 8. 7, rocking it back, good. 6, raise up to the balls of the feet, and then to the heels. 4 more. Trying to keep that weight evenly distributed between all your toes when you go up to the balls of the feet and the toes. 2 more sets. Here's the last one. Great work. Shake that out. All right. Next, we are going to step our base. Actually, we'll start with our foot tapped in. So we're going to step it out to the side, shifting our weight back into the heel and the tailbone, standing up tall, and tapping the foot back in. We're going to go a little bit faster than that. Here we go. It's out, sit, up, and tap. Now, if you don't need the chair, you can challenge your balance a little bit more. Feel free to use the chair if needed, though. You're still working that balance, still gonna help us to prevent those trips and falls. Good. 2 more. Last one. Great work. We have to do that on the other side, keeping ourselves even. I'll just step over to the side so you can see me a little bit better, but feel free to stay behind your chair. Slow for the first one. That's what we did last time. Good. Now we can go a little faster. Out, back, up, and in. 7 more. Chest is lifted. Keep those abs tight, pulling that belly button in towards the spine. Keep that breath going, trying not to hold our breath. Last one. Great work. All right, we're going to switch to the other side of our body. We have those back rows to start. Knees are soft, abs tight, up 2, down 2. Squeeze the elbow up and back. Remember, we added back and in if we wanted some leg work. We just stepped that toe back, and then we went a little faster. 8. Holding onto the chair if needed. You decide. 4 and 3. Last 2. Standing tall. Raise that arm out to the side, up to about shoulder level. Trying to keep that weight below our shoulder or at shoulder, but protecting that cervical spine. Remember, you could go longer lever if you wanted. It's up to you. We've got 4 more of these. Keep breathing. 3, 2, all right, and this is where we transition to our abduction, outer thigh work. You remember, you can put your weight on your thigh or you can rest it down and just do it with your body weight. Up to the middle. Here we go. We raise it up and then we tap it down in front. Take it out and then we tap it down in the middle. Again, leading with that heel. Think lead with the heel. Back to center. Again, up, tapping it in front. Little balance challenge there. And if you need to set it all the way down, you're welcome to do that as well. Good. Let's do it just out to the side and in. Singles. 6. Supporting knee is soft. Keep that breath coming. 4, 3, last 2, and 1. Good. All right, here's where we pressed it up overhead. Just singles. And if you want to add that extra step, challenge that balance, you're welcome to join me there. Let's do 4, 3, 2, last 1. Nice. Lowering it down to the side, getting ready for tilt and tall, working the core, working those obliques. Here we go. We tilt it and we stand up nice and tall. Keep that breath going. Knees are soft. Keeping that chest lifted, relaxing through the shoulders and the jaw. 4 more of these. 4, 3, 2, and last one. Good work. All right, we're going to rest those weights down, and we are going to do some clockwork lunges. So you can do just a step, or you could do a lunge, and we'll start with one leg. We're going to step it forward, step together out to the side. We've done all of these exercises so far today. Take it back, but now we're kind of putting them together. Back to the side. Back to forward. To the side. Use that chair as much as you need it. Taking it back. To the side again. Energy into the tailbone and heel. Forward one more time on this side. And you could challenge yourself with just a little tap instead of a full step. Out to the side. Good. Other side right away. Front and side and back. Back to the side. Chest is lifted. Abs are tight. Forward again. Remember to use the chair if you need it. To the side. To the back. To the side. Excellent. One more set. Forward. And side. And back. Good. One last time side. And then stepping it out. Swivel through those hips. Loosen it up. Switch direction. Good. Let's pick up those handheld weights. And let's come back in front of our chair. We're going to go back to sit and stand where we sat and we stood. And we squeeze those glutes on top, keeping those legs nice and strong for getting up and out of our chair. Now, if your legs are tired and you feel like I can't keep getting up and down, you can just use those standing muscles like you're about to get up and then relax. So you squeeze like you're about to stand and release. Squeeze and release. Or back to stand and sit. You decide which one works best for you. Good. Let's do 2 more. And on this last one, I'm going to stay down. Nice. All right. Let's rest those weights down to the side. And we're going to lift the knee and lower. Other side. Lift and lower. You could add those biceps like we did earlier. Keep that breath going. Let's do 4. Remember, you could do just the legs if you don't want to do the arms, or if your legs are tired and you want to just focus on those arms, you could do that as well. Good. Lowering those legs, leaning forward, hands at the hips, tricep kickbacks, press them back, singles and singles. A little more tricep work. We don't use them as much around our house throughout the day, so we can focus on those a little bit extra. Keep that breath going. 2, let's alternate for 8. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, done. Good. Let's set those weights down. Grab another drink. We're going to do a little bit of seated balance here before we do our final stretch. So we're going to sit up nice and tall, tighten through the core. You can either just lift up the knee or you could extend the leg. Then we're going to take our arms, one to the side, one to the front, and we're going to switch and switch. Finding a place to focus on for balance. 2 more. Last one. Excellent. Lower it down. Other leg up or extend. 1 to the front, 1 to the back, switching side to side. Or just bending, you decide. Almost done. A little extra balance work here. Wonderful. Lower it down. Roll those shoulders. Great work in our working phase. Let's do a little stretch before we call it a day. 1 foot is out. We'll just lean it forward, stretching the back of the upper leg. And then crossing either at the ankle or the knee, leaning again. Feeling that stretch in the outer thigh here. Lowering that leg now, stepping it out, opening it, turning towards the wall, doing a little lunge, feeling a little stretch here through our hip flexor. Back to center. Taking the other leg, heel down, toe up, leaning forward. Hamstring stretch on the other side. And then crossing at the ankle or the knee, leaning again. Outer thigh stretch here. And we're going to release that stretch, lower the leg, opening it up, turning to the side, push that back leg back as far as you need to, stretching through that hip flexor. And release back to center. Breathe it up. Exhale, stretch through that back. Breathe, exhale the other side. Opening it up, palms face each other and back, or holding onto the chair. Lifting up through the chest. Stretching out that chest right here. Reaching one arm up, bending and holding, or give yourself a little push if you need a little extra stretch through your triceps. Wrist rotation down. Other side. Hold it or push it. You could even maybe give yourself a little tricep massage right there. Wrist rotation down. Turning and looking over your shoulder. Moving over to the other side. Center, chin to the chest, ear from shoulder to shoulder. Loosening up through there. Bringing it center and release. Give me another big full breath in. Letting it go. Try to fill up all the lungs. Trying to let out every last breath. Great work today. Thank you for sharing this 30 minutes with me. Again, my name was Errah, and I'm from the Oshkosh YMCA. See you next time.